Chosen one, this message is not reaching you by chance. If you're hearing these words, it's because a divine alignment has brought you to this moment. You've walked a long road, one filled with trials, questions, and quiet perseverance. And now, you stand at the threshold of a shift that is not only personal but purposeful. You are not ordinary. You've always sensed that, even in silence. There's a reason you've never quite fit the mold others expected you to. That inner restlessness. That was purpose waiting for recognition. You are a chosen one, marked not by ease, but by resilience. This isn't spiritual hype. It's a quiet confirmation of something you've always known deep down: your path was never meant to look like everyone else's. Let's be clear. Being chosen doesn't mean you've had an easier life. In fact, it's often the opposite. The weight of this calling has shown up in your struggles, your isolation, and in the way life has tested you when no one was watching. You've endured, not because life is unfair, but because you were being prepared. Right now, you're standing at a unique point of transformation. This is not about a temporary feeling or a motivational high. This is a divine reset. A spiritual awakening that is set to alter the course of your future. And it begins with recognition, recognizing that your past did not break you, it built you. Have you noticed how recently things feel like they're shifting, internally and externally? The people you once aligned with may no longer understand you. What used to interest you might now feel empty. That's not confusion. That's elevation. When you're chosen, the old starts to fall away so that the new can take form. You are not being punished. You're being positioned. There is a sacred window opening now. Some say it happens in the stillness of the early morning hours, at times like 3 a.m., when the world is quiet and the spirit is most sensitive. Whether or not you believe in that specific hour, the deeper truth remains: clarity often comes in silence. And silence is where many chosen ones have found their greatest breakthroughs. Don't ignore the signs. If you've been waking up feeling unsettled or restless, it's not just insomnia, it may be a spiritual prompting. A nudge from something higher that's saying, prepare. It's time. But preparation isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. Spiritually, mentally, and emotionally open to what's coming. Take time to clear your environment, quiet your mind, and set intentions. This isn't superstition, it's alignment. Chosen one, your story is not just about survival. It's about purpose. There are people connected to your assignment, lives that will be impacted because you chose to stay the course. That's why the pressure has felt so intense. You carry more than just your own destiny. You are a vessel for transformation. You've been asking for clarity, for signs, for confirmation. And while others might wait for lightning bolts or dramatic events, you understand that God often speaks in subtleties. The calm after the storm. The strength after a breakdown. The peace that doesn't make sense. These are the signals. They're subtle, but they're sacred. In this season, don't underestimate the value of spiritual awareness. Not everyone around you will understand your transformation. And that's okay. You weren't chosen for validation, you were chosen for impact. Sometimes the most significant growth happens in isolation, in stillness, and in silence. Embrace it. As the next 7 days unfold, pay attention to how your energy begins to shift. The breakthrough you're sensing is not in the distance, it's already in motion. But here's the truth: breakthroughs come with responsibility. As your influence increases, so will the need for discernment. You must protect what you're building. Not everything deserves your response. Not everyone deserves access to your spirit. You are not arrogant for protecting your peace, you are wise. Chosen ones must learn to operate from discernment, not distraction. Right now, your timeline is being rearranged. Delays you didn't understand before are now revealing their purpose. Doors that once shut in your face may suddenly reopen, but this time, you'll walk through them with a different posture. You are not who you were when the opportunity first appeared. You've grown. You've evolved. And now, you're ready. If you felt isolated lately, know that you're not alone. Many chosen ones go through a season where it feels like no one understands them. That's because elevation requires separation. You cannot take everyone with you into your next chapter. And that's not rejection, it's redirection. Chosen one, let this be your reminder, you were not called to blend in. You were called to stand out, not for your own glory, but to reflect something greater. Your light is meant to be seen. Your wisdom, your healing, your presence, it matters. So today, release the guilt of outgrowing people or places. You're not better, you're just being obedient. And obedience will always look like rebellion to those not called to your journey. Before we close this part, pause for a moment and reflect on this truth. Everything you've been through, every high, every heartbreak, every detour, was not random. It was divine. You were chosen for this path, and though it's not easy, it is necessary. Get ready. The next phase is not just about receiving, it's about becoming. This is your moment, chosen one. Chosen one, now that you've reached the threshold of this awakening, it's important to understand, this next season is not passive. It's intentional. Becoming who you were always meant to be doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. You've already endured the storm. You've already climbed the mountain. Now comes the real shift, the embodiment of everything you've prayed for, worked through, and waited on. This is where knowledge becomes wisdom, and potential becomes purpose. But let's get one thing clear. Transformation doesn't mean life becomes perfect. It means you begin to navigate life from a different dimension. You're no longer reacting, you're responding. No longer striving, you're aligning. That's the difference between those who are chosen and those who are simply aware. There's a level of maturity that comes with being chosen. It's spiritual, emotional, and energetic. You start to discern when it's time to speak and when it's time to stay silent. You know when to move and when to wait. That quiet confidence you're stepping into. That's divine authority. In the coming days, don't be surprised if you start to feel a deep detachment from what once kept you engaged. The conversations, the distractions, even certain habits, they may no longer resonate. That's not you becoming distant. That's you becoming aligned. The truth is, chosen ones often walk through a season where isolation becomes elevation. Not because they're running away from the world, but because they're tuning into a higher calling. You are entering that space now. A place where peace is your default, not a privilege. A place where clarity replaces confusion. And here's something you must understand, the calling on your life isn't just for you. Your presence, your words, your wisdom, they will carry weight in someone else's breakthrough. That's why your path has been so different. That's why the warfare has been so intense. Not everyone is chosen to lead. Not everyone is chosen to carry light in the darkest places. But you were. That's not pressure, it's purpose. Right now, the energy around you is shifting. You may notice synchronicities, specific numbers appearing, dreams becoming more vivid, a stronger sense of intuition guiding your decisions. These aren't coincidences. These are confirmations. Pay attention to what no longer fits. The discomfort you feel is often the soul's way of asking for growth. Don't cling to the familiar if your spirit is asking for expansion. Your growth may offend others, but it will fulfill you. Remember, you are not here to please the crowd. You are here to walk the path that few have the courage to walk. And with that comes responsibility, not just to your calling, but to your well-being. Protect your peace. Guard your energy. Be mindful of what you consume and who you allow into your atmosphere. The universe is not punishing you, it's prioritizing you. Everything that felt delayed wasn't denial, it was divine development. You weren't ready then, but you are now. The closed doors were never a reflection of your worth, only a redirection to something better. As you continue to step into this becoming, start asking different questions. Not, why is this happening to me, but what is this preparing me for? Because the truth is, nothing in your life has been wasted. Not a single hardship, not one tear, not even the moments you thought were failures. All of it was woven into the fabric of your purpose. Chosen one, the spiritual path you're on is not one of instant gratification. It's one of eternal significance. What you're building now will outlast you. The seeds you're planting, through your discipline, your compassion, your faith, will bear fruit in lives you may never even meet. You've been appointed, not just for influence, but for impact. So what does becoming look like now? It looks like saying no without guilt. It looks like walking away from anything that disturbs your peace. It looks like choosing discipline over distraction, silence over chaos, purpose over popularity. And it looks like trusting that everything aligned for this moment, right here. You are no longer who you used to be, and that's a good thing. You're not just healing. You're evolving. You're not just waiting. You're preparing. You're not just chosen, you're becoming. And that becoming will require new habits, new boundaries, and new levels of faith. But it will also bring new strength, new relationships, and a depth of joy that can't be shaken by circumstances. Let this part of your journey be guided not by fear, but by intention. Fear tells you to hold on to the past. Intention tells you to step into your next. You don't need every answer to move forward. You just need the courage to take the next step. And as you do, you'll realize that everything is beginning to align, not just for your benefit, but for the assignment you were created to fulfill. Chosen one, you are stepping into a new rhythm. A rhythm that flows with purpose. You no longer need to force things to happen. When you're in alignment, you attract. You no longer need to chase. What's meant for you now has the clarity to find you. Let your presence be your confirmation. Let your peace be your compass. Let your faith be your fuel. This is your becoming. Not later. Not eventually. Now. You've been prepared. You've been refined. And now, it's your time.